Hello. I'm gonna
Hello.
mute myself because my family is loud.
I understand loud families. Mine is quiet at the moment. We'll see if they stay quiet. Gonna give everyone, hey Karen.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
Hello,
you?
Teresa. You're muted, but that's
Oh,
okay.
Teresa, hello. Hey Tammy, Kathleen, hey Kim. Hello Mariah and Bethany and Tammy. I gotta keep up with a lot of things here. I choose to shine. Hold on, just let me see here. While we're letting people arrive. You don't have a drink of water, you might want some water. Might want something to write with. Let's see. Meeting ID.
There we are.
One of these days I'll have an admin to assist with multiple tasks simultaneously. Meanwhile, it's me and my angels and you all beautiful people here shining. 6, 9, 8, 5. We'll get started in just.
Are you outside?
I am inside. I created this fantastic Zoom background.
It's awesome. No, but you've got like the Marilyn Monroe thing going with your hair.
Yeah. No, I'm inside. I have
No,
I
it's
have a
blowing in the
fan on.
wind.
Yes, I have a fan
Yes.
on. Yes, it's still warm enough here, although the temperatures are changing. Thankfully, we're getting some cooler weather while Natasha and Teresa are heating up. Yes, we're crossing in the temperatures now. Okay, well, we're going to just jump in and get started. Thank you for coming to From Shame to Shine. I am your hostess, Heather Harbaugh. For those of you who don't know me, I think I know most of you all. There are some people who registered who I don't know. So for those folks, I will introduce myself. I am an artist and a course creator. I'm a mom. I've got 6 kids. They're not really kids anymore. They're like 17 and up. Just graduated my youngest from homeschool. She's my final homeschool graduate. So I'm entering into a brand new season of shining. My husband Lee is a pianist, musician, composer, and a realtor. Before that, he was a, not that you care, well, maybe you care, but I'm just sharing about our lives here. He was in IT. And one of the things about our family that we've been doing these last 8 years is developing our shining muscle and really embracing who we are and who we're here to be. And when he was doing IT work, he finally came to the conclusion that he really is a musician. He is a creator, and he had to give space to his music, or else things just weren't working out for him. So we made the choice for him to come home, and we began our entrepreneurship journey 8 years ago in August, this last August. And it has been quite the adventure. So what I'm going to be sharing with you these next 3 days has come from the field of experience. I didn't take a class on Shame to Shining per se in college. I didn't do a lot of research on it. It happened for me, so that I can deliver what I'm here to deliver to you all. When my husband we decided to bring him home so he could start to do what he's here to do on the planet and bring forth the music and other things that he's here to bring forth. I, up to that point, had been a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, which I loved. and it is a full-time job. And I choose to know if I just put the word just in front. I was just a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing just about that. It's a huge job. It is a magnificent job. And I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to do that. And when my husband decided to come home for our family and for him, I began to explore, like, what could I do to serve my world? And began to discover things like, if you're in Young Living and if you've been with me for a while, things like Aroma Freedom, that led to me studying conscious language, that led to me studying everything that Mastery Systems has to offer. And a couple of years ago, I arrived at a place where it was time for me to integrate all of these things that I had been studying from other people, and really begin to find out, how did all of these things fit inside of me, and how do they fit as an expression of me, all of me. I am still growing in this. I'm still mastering shining. So I am not here as your expert. I'm here as your facilitator, and my outcome is that you will feel ignited in your desire to shine above and beyond your habit of hiding or allowing shame to be your guide. My outcome for our 3 days together is that you make your new choice to shine. Shine more now than you ever have before in your life. That looks like whatever it looks like for you. There is no comparison because there's only one you. I believe in my faith walk that we are always moving from glory to glory and strength to strength, which means that who we are today and where we are today is going to be different, maybe even in 5 seconds. It's going to be an ongoing opportunity for new choices to be made. Once you arrive, or once I arrive at mastery for the specific level I'm on, I'm given the opportunity for a new level of choice. So my outcome is you make your brand new choice to shine at whatever point in your path you're on today. My second outcome is that you are more aware of your choices and possibilities and the blessing of you shining than you are aware of potential loss, limitation, lack, or separation. Oftentimes, when we are invited into shining, into increasing our shining, we will feel the tug of resistance, and a whole multitude of stories will come up. At least that's what happens for me. So I'm speaking from my vantage point, and this is my experience with people I've worked with, that our resistances, and even today, I've had all sorts of resistance come up to having this 3-day immersion. It seems simple. I've done lots of online courses. I've done lots of training, and I'm a natural born teacher. And yet still, I am being invited into more shining today than I have ever shown before up until now. If you require sunglasses, I empower you to grab some, because here I'm going to be shining, and you get to be the recipient of that. And also, finally, my outcome is that you begin to take inspired action in a brand new way, according to how you are designed to shine. So we carry within us a white fire light of God. The energy of God is what called us into being, and it is what sources our being even now. You may have heard me say this before, but you are a sun presence, and I am here to summon your sun presence forth. And I'm sure your sun presence is ecstatic, because the amount of effort that it requires for you to hold back your shining is equivalent to asking the sun to reduce its shining. If you can imagine how much energy it would take the sun to react to every single complaint. If you live in Texas, and if you've had a hot summer, you can bet there have been plenty of complaints in your area about how hot the sun is. And if the sun were to listen to everyone's opinion and to listen to everyone's idea about how the temperature should be or how bright it should be, the sun would be continually spending energy on adjusting instead of just being the sun. The amount of energy that is required for you to withhold your shining is immense. You may have been hiding for quite some time and not even realize it. As I have allowed myself to shine, and as I allow myself to shine more and more, I get my energy back. I get my strength back. I get things back that I didn't realize I had been giving away to the effort of hiding. The reasons we hide are multifaceted and going to be dependent on each one of our circumstances and our experiences in life. And my understanding and my experience is that we hide. This is something we pick up from a very young age. So you may not even have a verbal awareness of or a ability to explain why you hide in certain situations. You may just have a visceral experience that is sending signals to your body that say it is not safe. Hide, 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 hide. Some of that has to do with safety. When you were a child, you had to hide in order to stay physically safe. So I just choose to pause and honor this right now, that there was a very real reason that you had to hide. If you are now an adult and you're now autonomous and you're choosing your sovereignty, then that pattern no longer protects you or even serves you any longer. In fact, it keeps you in old patterns. My focus on these 3 days is not going to be a lot on, it may come up, but on things that happen that in our childhood that are traumatic and that require us to be safe hiding, although I mean, we're going to talk about it in a broader sense. But if you require assistance, if you get in over your head, I'll say it that way, with feeling, I just want to say up front that please seek professional help. I have done a lot of sessions and a lot of helping people through this. Currently, I don't have a lot of space for it, so you can reach out and see if I have space in my schedule. And I will just say up front, like, please do your due diligence and find the help that you require. I am finding, however, that when we have a triggered response, when we're receiving an invitation like I'm giving you right now to bring forth your light and to shine, breathing and staying present in your body covers a multitude of stories of lack, limitation, and separation. The truth is that the moment that you're in right now, you are likely, not all of you are on camera, but for those of you that are on camera, I can see that you are in a safe place, at least from the visual that I have of you. So in this moment, there are no lions, there are no tigers, there are no bears coming through your door to get you. In your mind, maybe, but not in your physical location. And so reminding yourself, bringing back together in your mind what is true is that I am secure, shining, and I choose to shine. When we have these experiences in life where we have to hide, and for most of us, we have fewer of those really life or death type hiding things, and we have more of when we go on the playground and we're trying to fit in with people and we're trying to decide, do they accept me when I wear this or when I say this or when I act this way? And so we begin this journey as children, continually assessing the people that we're with and deciding and discerning what will give me the experience of love and acceptance that I'm looking for. So we, from a young age, begin using our energy towards hiding. And depending on how many people you're with and how many times you're changing environments, then you are continually in this flux of, is this safe for me to shine here, or do I need to hide this here? Right. So we're in this flux of this. And again, these patterns have been going on for a long time up until now. And so as awareness comes up for you, which is, we're going to really focus on awareness tomorrow, you are to celebrate and applaud. Because if you do not have awareness, you cannot make a new choice. But once you have awareness, then you can make your new choice. And my outcome is that you make your new choice to shine more fully today than you have ever shined up until now. And shining looks different for all of us. I think yesterday, I had I had an experience yesterday where I was on a group call with some friends. And one of my friends was articulating something so beautifully. I was just sitting and basking in her words. And then suddenly I had this thought cross my mind that's like, well, you didn't articulate it like that. Like, it was like this. And that thought came into my mind because I had this subtle comparison that slipped in. I began comparing my expression to how hers sounded. Thankfully, I had my awareness on deck and I was quick to catch it. And I just, instead of comparing, I just received the gift that her expression gave me. I have also been on the receiving end of someone else comparing themselves to me and then making a judgment about themselves and their shining not measuring up because of how I was shining or how I was expressing myself, which that is a whole other form of shame and shame experience, because then I took on myself the responsibility to make sure that everyone in my world felt comfortable with my shining. I have heard people say, well, I just want to make everyone feel comfortable. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. Maybe you've heard yourself say that or heard other people say that. And I'm here to tell you, it's not your job. It's not my job. Unless you have small children, you are not responsible for the well-being of others, or you may be caring for someone that requires your assistance, but we are not responsible for the emotional well-being of those around us. Everyone is sovereign and responsible for their own emotional well-being. Now, are we responsible for love and kindness and compassion? Yes. When we shine fully, however, what happens sometimes when we're experiencing people's reaction to our shining is they are having more light enter into their body than they have had enter into their body up until that point. So imagine you've been in a dark room and someone throws open the blinds. You have that initial, you may retract, or you walk from a cold room to a hot room, or you walk from a soft space to a loud space. So you think about these different switches. It's not that there's something wrong with the environment. It's just that you or I am adjusting to the change. So I went to a foot reflexology place a few weeks ago. And when I went to pay and I left a tip, I noticed that the girl's face, she just had this facial expression go across her face. And I made the judgment that she had looked at how much I had left for a tip and she was disappointed. No, she didn't say that. This was my interpretation of the look that went across her face. And then I started to take on this feeling of shame that I had not done enough. I had not given enough. And how could I fix it? And how could I fix her disappointment? And I was like, okay, hold on. I think my tip was fine. I am not responsible for her disappointment. I can take note, I can gather facts and ask. If there weren't a language barrier, perhaps I would have asked, but there was a bit of a language barrier at that time. I can ask, what is an appropriate amount to tip? I can gather more information so next time I'm more prepared. But me taking responsibility for how she responded, or how I was thought she was responding, right? It's not my job. In fact, I was talking to my sister.
Hi, Fred.
Let me see, what do I need to mute? as I was talking to my sister about it, and she said, well, she may have had something else going on in her mind when she took your payment. It may not have anything to do with the amount of tip you left. And I was like, well, you're right. How do I know? I don't. Unless someone communicates to me clearly what's going on for them, I can't know. So this also goes for us. We are responsible to communicate and to voice our choice. If something isn't working for us, we are responsible to teach our world how to honor us, to express to our world what works for us, and to tell our world what they can do to show us love in a way that speaks love to us, for example. If we don't, and we keep making up a story in our mind about the things that are going on, and we hide, we retract, we withdraw from communicating, from taking responsibility, from taking action, then it will show up in our bodies. Several years ago, almost 10 years, 11 years ago, I started waking up with panic attacks. Well, that's what I'm calling them now. I choose to really know what they were. I went to doctors and therapists, and I didn't have a specific diagnosis, but that's what I'm calling them now. I remember very clearly the first time it happened. It was like I was ripped up out of my sleep with this visceral fight or flight response, and then a barrage of thoughts of things that had done wrong, things that had gone wrong, things that might go wrong. It was unending. And that went on at a very intense level for at least 4 years. And it was in the fourth or fifth year, that I was at a conference, and this lady was sharing an experience she had where she had made a choice to hide. She told the story a little bit differently, but this is the language I'm going to use for the sake of what we're doing here. And a few months later, she began to have anxiety, like really, really strong, severe anxiety. And she went back in her mind and thought, what happened? And she was able to pinpoint the moment when she made the choice to hide. And her story suddenly sparked this remembrance in me, how 6 months prior to me waking up like this with these panic attacks, I had made the decision that on a certain day of the week, in a certain environment, I was going to not be my full self. Now, it took 6 months for my body to finally get my attention. And once it got my attention, and once I put 2 and 2 together, and I realized that this experience I was having in my body was related to me suppressing my light, to me making a very strong choice. I made a very strong choice in that moment. I am never going to let this be seen ever again. Fine. Cancel, clear. To now realizing that my body was telling me, shine. My body was getting overwhelmed with trying to mitigate all of my hiding. And as I began to give myself permission to shine, give myself permission to be seen, give myself permission to express my choice and to express what I required, my experiences in the morning began to ease. When I would wake up with a heightened intensity again, I would ask myself, what happened yesterday? And I could pinpoint an area where I had pulled back. So my body was saying, we're not going to let this go on and on and on ever again. You're going to have a really immediate feedback, for which I'm very thankful. Your light is required on the planet now. If you haven't noticed, we are entering a brand new age. We have entered a brand new age. 2020 was a tipping point that tipped the whole world into brand new. Some people, if you can imagine, if you've ever gone hiking, or if you ever walked on a path that wasn't a linear straight path that you could see all the way to from the beginning to the end, if you've been on a winding path, you know that there are points on the path that have a different perspective. Especially if you're climbing a mountain, you're going to have different vistas and perspectives depending on where you are on the trail. So I'll just communicate to you, as you embrace your shining more fully today than you ever have before, than you have until now, and you come across people who aren't maybe shining, or you notice that they could be choosing to shine more, we just recommend to you that you bless them with your light, and you just recognize that they are where they are on their path. Where they are is not who they are. The same as where we are is not who we are. Where you are on your path to shining is not who you are. It's just where you are on your path. You may be at mile marker 4.0, or you could be at 8.0. 4.0 is not better than 8.0. They have different vistas and perspectives. So as you embrace and you make your new choice to shine, my outcome is for you to recognize that where you are is not who you are, and that where anybody is not who they are, and that we make the commitment to see God shining in each person that we encounter as much as when we look in the mirror. And sometimes it's easy, I'll say it both ways, make the commitment to every person we see God shining. We see the image of God shining in and through them. And when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we make the commitment first and foremost that we see God in us shining. The sun presence that we are being asked to shine is the very presence of God that inhabits this vessel that we are. There's a scripture that says that we are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Spirit is breath. The very fact that we breathe means we have the living presence of God, the living presence of Creator, the living presence of divine source, of divine love that is breathing us. We can hold our breath. Not for long, but we can. We can hold back our shining. Not for long, but we can. But I don't recommend either of those. So if you find yourself in these next 3 days, or tonight and the next 2 nights, if you find yourself starting to hold your breath, just notice, oops, I'm holding my breath, and begin to breathe. If you notice that you're in a reactive pattern and you're reacting to an opportunity, to an invitation for you to shine, and you notice, I just had an opportunity to shine. And if you feel fear, or you feel overwhelm, or you feel sad, or whatever your feeling or emotion is, remember, breathing can bring you right back into your present moment and ground you in your now and remind you it is God breathing me. You are not doing this on your own. Your small self is not responsible for taking on the shining business. It is God in you. So anytime you start to go, oh, I just don't know if I can, just God in me can. So I have, well, I'm remembering, I just jumped right in, which is, I love it. And I'm going to introduce you to one of my most anchoring decrees that I have been playing with this last 18 months. And this is a variation of it, and you make it your own. But this is how this is a decree. This is how my life looks as miracles are unfolding for me. This is how my life looks as miracles are unfolding for me. Because sometimes when we start shining, we've changed a pattern. And when we change a pattern in our world, it creates a ripple effect. And that ripple effect may look messy. When you begin to let your light shine, it's an invitation for others to let their light shine. And if that person is at a different place on their path and they're not quite ready to shine, then it may look messy. And I recommend allow the mess to happen. When things get uprooted out of the ground, it does create some mess. Mess is not wrong. There's nothing to fix with the mess. simply stay in the decree. This is how it looks, or this is how my life looks, or this is how my family looks as miracles are unfolding for me. The other decree I offer you that Bob, my mentor, taught me is I choose to make this fun and easy. Sometimes people laugh at that decree. They're like, yeah, right. Like I can choose to make it fun and easy. Yes, you can. In a little bit, I'm going to have Natasha come on and she's going to share some of her story. And I know she can attest to when we choose to make it fun and easy, it actually creates ease in our life. We actually do get to have our choice, which is I choose to make this fun and easy. Now, I may get the opportunity to surrender some control that I've been exerting on a situation in order to have my fun and ease. And I highly recommend this quick and easy decree. You can have it top of mind. I choose to make this fun and easy. And the other one is God in me can. Again, this is not your small self or your ego or your inner child's job to shine. Your inner child already shines. It's you're allowing your adult self to come online, to get up to speed and let your light shine. It's not efforting, it's not putting a burden on, it's you are allowing, you are letting. And when you start letting, debris, things you've been hanging on to, things that no longer serve you, all these things you're going to be issued invitations again and again to be brand new and to shine. All right, how are y'all doing? Are you doing good? Thumbs up. I did create, I'm going to start by saying this. Bethany, who's also on here, Bethany and I have been creating this event that you may have heard about. It's our in-person immersion called Shine. It's called Shine. And it's in-person immersion that we're going to be doing. And we've been talking about, she said something early on in our planning stages about doing things upside down. And so I was like, okay, yes, upside down, doing things in an order that isn't usual, the order that's usually the order I do things in. And one of the things that I'm just going to offer to you is that in order to be brand new, in order to shine more fully, things have to be different. Patterns have to change. I heard this story of this guy. He was observing patterns. And he noticed every morning he sat in the same chair with his cup of coffee in the same hand. And he said, I wonder what happens if I switch hands. So he switched it to his other hand, and and the next day he drank coffee out of his other hand, and he noticed the patterns around him shifted and changed. So if you desire change in your life, if you desire something to be different, you're going to have to do things in a different order. Maybe you do the same things. Maybe instead of holding your coffee in your right hand, though, you hold it in your left hand and just observe what happens. So when I was preparing this 3-day event, ordinarily, I would have done a number of things in a certain order. But this time, it's just kind of spilling out of me as the step comes to me. So it's this particular time, I am partnering with God and I'm saying, okay, what's my next step? And then I'm being delivered my next step and I'm taking action on my next step. So all that to say, ordinarily, I would have started with a Facebook group for this specific group because it's fun for me. I've found it's really fun and easy to deliver information in a Facebook group and to keep things neat and tidy and clean and clear. And so I've created a Facebook group called From Shame to Shine. When you got your reminder for the Zoom link, there was a link in there. I've also put it in the event. And if you can't find it, please reach out to me and I'll give it to you. In the event, in the Facebook group is where I will upload the replays of the videos. That is the easiest place I know of to do this. And I like simple and I like Facebook groups for that purpose. You're also going to have the opportunity to download a journaling sheet with an activity on there that will support each day's material. And that is also going to be in the Facebook group. So I invite you to join the Facebook group so you can get that. If you absolutely cannot do Facebook groups, that's okay. Please email me and I will get you the material a different way. I'm happy to accommodate that. Just I think for the just for the ease of the rest of it, we'll do it this way. Okay, perfect. So what is shining? Shining is you being all you. You may not know who all of you is right now, and that's okay. Because that's what this 3-day adventure is about. Our mini immersion is about you stepping into, about you coming back into awareness of what it is in your heart that you are designed to shine. You may have various roles in life, mother, daughter, sister, or careers, artist, coach, engineer, doctor. Those are all roles. Those are all expressions of our shining. And your light carries a certain frequency. It carries a certain vibration. It carries your unique signature. And within your unique light signature is a characteristic or multiple characteristics, but it's an aspect of God. We are all aspects of God in the flesh. And as you explore your light and you begin to see how you are designed and you are here for shining, here to bring forth brand new creations, uncertainty will come up. And one of my mentors, Jessica, says that in uncertainty is when brand new things are created. Do we need some brand new things created right now? Yes, we do. We require brand new systems. We require brand new structures. We require brand new ways of thinking, brand new ways of being, and you and I are the ones to bring it. We are the gateway of God, the portal of heaven, and we are the beings through which heaven is going to come to earth. So when we have this invitation to shine, it is for us. This is all for us. When I say that, I mean, like, when you see something outside of you that requires assistance, you go within you to find the solution. If you notice it, it's because you have a solution inside of you to contribute to it. That solution may be a smile. Only you know what your solution is. You may have a very small, not small, the piece of the solution you have may be a smile. The piece of the solution you have may be a large sum of money. The piece of the solution you have may be masterminding something like that's really intricate and complex. All of those things have equal value, because it may be the smile that initiates the large sum of money that initiates the mastermind. We don't know the order. So we can't judge the significance or the value of our creative expression. We can. I don't recommend it, but we can't accurately judge it. So your shining may be an action that to take that is sending a text to someone of gratitude. I challenge you to watch all the ways. I've been watching myself. So I'm going to challenge you to watch all the ways you discount your shining. Just watch it. Observe. Don't judge it. Don't make it wrong. Don't even take any action on it. Just notice. Oh my goodness. I felt inspired to shine in this way, and I talked myself out of it for some reason. Once you start noticing, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow, but just start noticing and observing. And then give yourself permission to shine. Brand new, to be brand new. Okay, I'm going to bring Natasha on to share. You're going to love Natasha. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. She's a sparking joy queen, all the way from down under, from Perth, Australia. Are you ready, Natasha, to join us? Unmute.
I am. I was just
Okay.
about to write in the chat group, but now I may as well just share it verbally. You know how much I love hearing you talk, Heather. And whilst you've been talking for the last, I don't know, the time's probably just flitted away. Wow, it's already been 40 minutes and it felt like 5. So many aha moments. So thank you for inviting me to talk.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
And thank you for those kind words too. It's
Yeah.
really lovely. And I really do value the friendship that we've that has flourished over the last, however, is it 3 years maybe?
I
Close
think 3
to
years, yes.
we've shared together since I first had my first Aroma Freedom crush, and on someone the other side of the 12 hours away. So yeah. If nobody's ever done an AFT or Aroma Freedom, absolutely recommend it. Whether it's Heather or somebody else, I know there's a few AFT practitioners on here, or self administer, I highly recommend it. I'm assuming we might even do one of them, maybe, I don't know, one of Heather's special versions of it, which is awesome too. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So so Natasha and I we've only ever met online, although I feel like I've given her hugs in person, although it was, Australia, well, the world shut down and all sorts of things complicated and kind of travel between our continents. And one of the things I love about Natasha is when she gets new information that ignites a fresh revelation in her, she takes action. And I invited her to share because I just feel that she has a unique experience, and also not being from the US and Australia, which is another country and a different culture and different paradigm, and what it's been like for her to embrace her shining more today than she has before up until now. So whatever you choose to share, I trust your heart.
Thank you. I'd like to work backwards to my birthing with you, if that makes sense.
Yes.
From here to backwards. So as I said, listening to you today, I have so many aha moments and so many, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, so many more pats on the backs and acknowledgements of moments that I didn't even realize I had grown in areas until you have spoken about them. And that just goes to compliment your mentorship and my ability to take your advice and run with it. And yeah, so to where I am now. And from the very first moment until now, the one very much affirmation that has stayed true through the days and nights and all different seasons over the last 3 or so years is, I choose to make this fun and easy. And my children sometimes quote it back to me too. So that's always good to see. Art imitates art, right? So where am I now? So most recently, as recent as even just listening to you now, my most recent aha moment in this moment, literally, so you can celebrate this win with me, is that realizing in the past I have chosen to monetize my actions, my shining, my skills, to give myself to make them worthy, to validate them, to give myself permission to actually execute those moments of joy, activate those times of shining and so on, rather than actually just shining and putting that dollar, this is all just coming to mind now, having put that dollar value on those moments of shining rather than just shining, is my former self saying, I can only do these moments, I can only be experiencing these moments, I can only live in these moments if I put a dollar sign on them. And that's a really, really big revelation for me right now. So I'm sure there's more than just me in the world that, or even just on Zoom this morning, that feel that way or have maybe experienced that way. you know, right through to oh gosh, I could think of so many, right through to all the oils in behind me. When I joined, I'm a young living lover as well, even before I met Heather. And when I immersed myself in these amazing things being essential oils, cancel that. So these amazing oils, I was just drawn to learn and learn and learn more and more and more about them. And then someone said, oh, you need to be a business builder. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to validate that. And so I monetized it. And that was fine. But it wasn't necessarily what I needed to do. I just needed to acknowledge the fact that I really loved shining more in using those products and learning about those products and empowering myself with that knowledge, that I didn't actually need to take it one further. I could have just gone, oh yeah, thank you for the compliment, learning, and so on. And so many more moments about that, right down to most recently in relation to my love for joy and my love for shining. And you know, oh, I need to be a life coach now, and I need to be this and I need to be that, because if I'm not, then I'm not allowed to shine. And that's been a very strong dialogue that I've only just sort of realized just now. So thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
So even as recent as last week is an affirmation. Is that no, not necessarily the sentence of an affirmation, affirming, thank you, affirming my growth in keeping things fun and easy, and allowing myself to shine and take ownership for my behaviors, the good and the bad. Well, cancel that. I don't necessarily judge necessarily my bad behaviors, but not necessarily my highest choices. And last week I was privileged with the care of 16 other homeschooling children, primary school aged, and we were spending time at a local sports oval, and the sprinklers came on, and I saw that as an opportunity to allow the children to bask in a little bit of water play. The kids were loving it, as you can imagine, these massive big sports oval sprinklers that are powerful enough to, you know, shoot your glasses off, and they'll, you know, this water was being directed in every orifice of theirs, and we were having a good fun time. But then, you know, when the parents came to pick them up, one child in particular was in his smalls, his underwear, whatever polite word for that is. And we, as a group, even the other children, gave him permission to allow him to take all his wet clothes off because it was really cold. And we were all saying, okay, you know, it's just another piece of clothing. You're welcome to be, to feel, you know, safe to take your clothes off. Well, he wasn't naked, please, you know, he still had clothing on. There was nothing being exposed. And I took full ownership for that. Other children lent him some dry clothes. Anyway, so when the mother arrived, I took full ownership of her not being happy with her child being in other people's clothing, and not presented the way that she would have been presented. I stood there, I allowed her to explain, and I reminded myself that the choice that I made in that moment was for my higher good, the children that I was in care of their higher good. And I expressed that, you know, I take full ownership for what has happened. I apologize that, you know, it wasn't your expectations. And I didn't allow it to actually eat at me. Whereas in the past, I would have. I'm like, oh, should have done this. Now I need to apologize to the whole group, and I need to check in, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and oh gosh, I should have done that, and let it eat and eat and eat and eat. And I have grown so much that I stayed true to myself, that my choices were the right choices in that moment. Nobody was harmed in the moment. Yet in the past, even as much as 12 months ago, I would have allowed that person to dim my light. And I'm really proud of myself, because it's taken, and Heather can confirm that it has taken a lot of work to get to that point where I have not allowed, I have allowed myself to stand firm in my joy, in my shining. So yeah, as I not reverse, but as I play my memories back over the time that I've spent with Heather, I have spent a lot of time plucking out old memories that do serve me well, to remind me where I was and how far I've come, right as far as infancy. My earliest memory as a child, an infant, sitting in my cot, and that would have been the pivotal moment of realizing that I was responsible for my own joy. My mother, I totally forgive her, but this is just to give you context. My mother was incapable of, for mental health reasons, of meeting my needs. Back then, postnatal depression wasn't diagnosed, and I'm also one of 6 children. So and she also had an ill mother that she had under her own roof, and she was caring for so many, and she was doing the best she could, and she did do the best she could. Yet at the same time, I was put in a situation from a very early age to realize that my joy came, it was delivered by me. I needed to serve me. If anyone was going to listen to me, it was me. I had to do things for me. I couldn't rely on anyone else. And there's been a lot of good out of that too. I've definitely carved myself out to be the person I am because of those moments of resilience, I guess. But at the same time, you know, my childhood, the permission to find joy for the purpose of joy and joy alone wasn't necessarily always there. So I now I allow myself permission. I give myself permission. I actually seek out joy. I seek out shining rather than waiting for it to come to me now. And it's not just the word joy. I intentionally seek out laughter. I intentionally seek out practical jokes, pranking family members, music, singing, whatever really resonates with me in that moment, to put a smile on my face and be that pond ripple effect for everyone around me, because I know it works, and I love the feeling that it brings me to feel so full of love, laughter, music, practical jokes, funny jokes, dad jokes, mum jokes, all of those things that are in my toolbox to keep shining, to keep being bright, and to remind myself that in the past, where I've been told, dim it down, you're too noisy, you're too this, you're too that, that they don't, those memories don't even allow, they're not even, whether I allow them to come up or not, they're not even there, that they don't even bubble up anymore. And yeah, joy is all the time now. And when I remind myself that life is fun and easy, and can be fun and easy, and life is meant to be fun and easy, that's why, in my opinion, why I've been put here is, well, humans in general, we're not meant to be the Groundhog Day. So we're not meant to eat, sleep, repeat, and, you know, lunch boxes or car trips or soccer mum or whatever it is that we feel in the middle. And when I had that very strong clarity of realizing that I was allowed to enjoy my motherhood journey, I was allowed to enjoy my children, I was allowed to enjoy just being, was incredibly pivotal in my life, and how I choose to be in this realm now. So yeah.
That's so beautiful, Natasha. Thank you for sharing. As you were talking about pioneering in your shining and having the experience when you were growing up as having the perception of it was all up to you and that you were doing it all on your own. I can relate to the idea that if it's you may have heard the phrase, if it's to be, it's up to me. If this is going to get done, I'm going to have to be the one to do it. Yes, and with permission, Natasha, and I think you'll agree that were you really alone? You want to elaborate a little bit, because I know we've had this conversation. So whatever you discovered was really true during that time.
I was very much loved. I was definitely not alone. It's again a reflection of myself that I see in other people, and the tools that I now use to recognize that what that person is sharing is a reflection of me. Like you were saying earlier, Heather, it's that tipping that person is like, oh, hang on a minute, that has absolutely nothing to do with me. And so when I reflect now on those moments that I have clarity as an infant, I was well and truly loved. I was in a safe space because my mother may have acknowledged I am not capable at the moment. I'm going to put my child in a safe space because I love her that much, and I was in a cot. There was nothing that I could do that I could have physically harmed myself. So my mother may have mentally taken those moments to go, what can I do to support my child? She needs me right now. And it's putting or reframing and not assuming in moments like those, or the memories that we do have, to actually realize that, yes, I was always loved. I wasn't alone. And I physically wasn't. My other sister was in the room with me. So we had each other. And I've never been alone. It was the perception that I chose to, the story that I told myself. So.
Yeah. And again, it's not about the right wrongness of the story we make up, but it's important to be able to identify the stories. And some of those stories are handed down to us. And some of your life experiences may have, again, we have the gamut of what our life experiences are likely on this call because of how many are here and the amount of women that are on the call, which is all of you. All of you are women, at least based on your names and the faces I can see. And one of the things that we're going to be doing in our in this time together, and we're going to do it here in just a minute, is to give ourselves permission to see beyond the memory that we hold, beyond the frame that either someone else has told us about or we have in our story. Because beyond the visible caretakers that we have in our life, and if this is brand new information for you, I'll put it out there and let you ask and find the answer. We have invisible, not visible necessarily to usually adult eyes, oftentimes children fully can see. But we have beings that are caring for us at all times. There's not a moment in our lives where we are separated from love. We have separation in our perception in our mind. And I am real careful to say it's very important that you give yourself permission to love all you feel about what you experienced in your life. To acknowledge and to recognize that there were some people in your life that didn't have the capacity to love you to the degree that your worth loving. People's again, if you can think about the journey on the path, that where the people who were our caretakers were on their path of awareness may be different than what we required. And yet, somehow, whether it's by a visible being or an invisible being, we are always being cared for, and love is always being given to us. And once we have eyes to see, you can even just ask, show me where love was when I didn't think there was any love there. Show me where my loving support was, even though in my memory, I don't see it anywhere. Just ask, and then let your question be. If you get an immediate answer, awesome. If it takes some time, that's okay too. Just give yourself permission to explore other possibilities than the ones that you have believed to be true up until now. I grew up in an environment that taught separation from God. And yet, even in the very scriptures that were used to teach that, I find evidence and proof that there is nowhere we can go where we are separated from love. There's not a place in the multiverse or the cosmos that love is not. So as you are stepping into new territory of shining, just invite you in this moment just to put a hand over your heart. And the first thing I'm going to invite you to do is just to acknowledge all that your heart's been through to get you to where you are today. Acknowledge the things you've tried, the experiences you've gone through, the pain that you felt, the shame that's you've carried or someone has put on you. Just let it say, my love is big enough to hold all of this in me. And if there's something like really specific coming to mind, just invite you to focus your attention on it and just see love pouring from your eyes, from your hand into the situation. Fill this like a container you're filling with water. Fill it with your love. And as you allow this memory, this story that in the past maybe didn't have much love in it, as you allow it to be filled with love, just notice what happens for you. You may have some resistance, and that's okay. You may have some body signals coming up. And I'm going to offer this to you. This is how I feel when love is knocking on my door. I let love in. I let love support me in shining. My love always supports me shining. Awesome. Well, we're at 8:30 now, so a little past. So if you need to go, I did have the time until 8:30. And I am also going to open up the floor. If any of you have something you choose to share, a question you may have or something coming up for you, I'll take a couple of questions or a couple of comments, a couple of reports. If you have anything, just wave your hand, unmute yourself, and you have permission to share. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Here's your time to take action and shine. No. Okay. Well, tomorrow we will be doing the same. We'll join again at 7:30. You know, what I'm going to do right now is, let me see if I can grab I'm going to put in the chat here the link to the Facebook group, so you all can just go ahead and click on it. And in that, I will be here in just a few minutes. I'll be uploading our first what am I calling it? Play sheet home study for you to do. And then you can download that, and it's taking a minute. Okay. Here it is. Okay.
I have
And
a question, but I came in like, I don't know, 5 minutes late, and I don't want to ask something you covered already.
Well, you know, it's okay. If I did, I can cover it again.
All right, just briefly anyway, but you said you're going to allow us a chance to shine, and so I just looked you up on the internet, and you're spiritual and all that, which is good. So this involves that, but that's what I was looking for. So what are you going to have us doing? Did you say or not? In what way? Will there be a format or
Yes.
question?
So I love your question. So I tonight was like our intro and kind of overview, and then I am in our I just put in the chat the link to the Facebook group, and so that will be an opportunity for people to share, and you can the home study lesson or sheet is some journaling exercises and another exercise I'm going to have you go through this week that you can share what you're getting. And then on the call, there'll be opportunity for you to share a challenge that you're having, and then I'll help you with it as things come up the next couple of days. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for being here, Deborah. Anyone else have a question or comment? Okay, taking it all in, integrating, breathing. I think having the Facebook group will really be helpful for those of you who I really recommend. One of the things I'm finding about shining is it's really important to be seen. So there's about 50 people that registered for the call. So the group will probably be about 50 people, at least in the beginning. It may grow, probably. It's possible that it will grow beyond 50. And it's a moderated group in the sense that I'm going to be in there and watching, and I have up until now only brought in people that are honoring of the culture that I create. So it will be a place for you to share to the degree that you feel secure sharing. The other piece that I'll offer is that when tomorrow, I'm going to give you opportunity to share what you notice between today and tomorrow. You can share in the chat, or you can come on mic or come on video and share. And I find that a lot of times that is a really powerful way for you to step into in a smaller arena into shining in a brand new way, and kind of stretching your muscles and giving yourself some positive experience with what it's like for you to do something you haven't done before or do it in a brand new way. And I invite you every time we meet to see me brand new, because I am brand new today. Let me tell you, I've gone through quite a bit of metamorphosis over the last few days for sure. And my commitment to shining now is higher than it's ever been. So I'm thankful to be here with you all, and I'm thankful that you all joined us tonight, and I'm excited to do this again tomorrow. All right. You are also welcome. Thank you for your lovely comments. I will go ahead and read them because on the replay, people don't get to read them. But Anna says, thank you for sharing your story with us, Natasha. Yes. Everybody give Natasha a hand. I'm so thankful for her share. She has it's in February, Sparking Joy Day. Is that correct? Yes. Natasha saw this or participated in something. She decided to be a chapter in her own area. That's one of the things I love about Natasha. She sees it and she feels a yes in her heart and she jumps in and she creates something really marvelous. So, yes, Natasha's a joy sparker. So get around her if you require some joy. Natasha says, thank you. I shared the Facebook group link there that y'all can grab. Donna says, so beautiful. Loved it so much tonight. Felt such a pure heart from both you, Heather, and lovely Natasha. I feel like I've been bathed with love. I love that, Donna. Tammy says, thank you kindly. Tammy Fisher says, thank you. Anna says, thank you. Some aha moments. And Natasha says, I highly recommend sharing with Heather in Lifetime. Yes, I agree. Jen says, thank you. Kim says, thank you. And Kathleen says, thank you for sharing your light with us tonight. And Natasha too. And Johnny says, thank you. I look forward to participating. Loved it. And you. Love you, Johnny. Love you all. Thank you again so much for being here. I'm, again, we'll see. My admin skills on my preparation, like I said, I'm doing things brand new. So my system is being developed as we speak, as far as I'm getting you the information like the home study sheet. So the fastest, easiest way for you to get both the replay of this tonight and the home study sheet will be in the Facebook group. And if you require a different way for me to send it to you, please email me and I will, or message me on Facebook and I will get that to you in another way that's fun and easy for you. All right, well, y'all can mic yourselves and let's all say goodnight together. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Shine on. Have a happy day, Natasha and Teresa.
Everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.